Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time on this very beautiful day to be inside during your lunch break and join London Youth today. So my name is Jenna Milliken, and I'm Head of Corporate Partnerships here at London Youth. And I'm thrilled to welcome you to this session where we'll celebrate the role sport can play in young people's lives, not just as something fun to do, but as something genuinely transformational. With the World Cup now in full swing, I don't know if everyone's big fans. I'm personally not, so it's kind of funny I'm leading the session. And Wimbledon starting next week, we're officially kicking off our British Summer of Sport, a moment when the whole country comes together around all things sport. We wanted to use this moment to shine a light on the young people who don't always get to take part, and on the youth clubs and trusted adults to help make sport accessible, welcoming, and life-changing for so many young people. Here at London Youth, we believe that children and young people matter. Their voices, their experiences, and their futures matter. Yet, unfortunately, too many young people feel that they don't count or they're being left behind. And that really is where transformational youth work changes things. It offers young people somewhere to go, something to do, and someone to trust. So for those that don't know, London Youth is a charity on a mission to champion and strengthen London's youth organizations so young people have the opportunities and skills that they need to succeed. So we do this with our amazing network of almost 600 youth organizations that operate in every single London borough, reaching over 600,000 young people every year. Our work includes direct programs for young people, capacity building for youth organizations and youth workers, and our 2 outdoor education centers, which provide life-changing experiences for young people. So in today's session, you will hear from our absolutely amazing, committed and inspiring ambassador and NFL player, Efe Obada, who will be in conversation with Malachi, who is a youth leader from one of our members, Caius House. You'll also hear from London Youth colleagues and youth workers from our network about our sports programs and the role that they can play in communities across London. We will have time for Q&A at the end, so any questions throughout the session, please do pop them into the chat, and I promise you we will get to them. And our hope is that you leave feeling inspired about the impact that sport can play on young people's lives, and that as you enjoy this summer of all things sport, you'll consider about how you might be able to support young people who don't always have access to these types of opportunities. So I'm now really happy to introduce Efe and Malachi to take over for this next part of the session.
Hello, everyone. My name is Malachi. I'm really excited to be here today. I've got the chance to speak with someone whose story shows just how powerful sport and the right support at the right time can be. Efe Obada is not only an NFL player, but also a born ambitious ambassador for London Youth. His journey started in youth clubs, and his story shows what can happen when young people are given the right support, belief, and opportunity. I had the opportunity to meet Efe at an event earlier this year with London Youth. He's also agreed to be on my podcast as a guest this summer. So, Efe, thank you for being here. I'd love to start by asking for you to share your journey to the NFL and how sport has changed your life.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me. And
Thank you.
it's a privilege to be able to speak to so many turned off cameras today. But for me, I had a very unconventional journey towards towards the NFL, really, and in life. But I wouldn't change it for the world because I got to meet so many people and learn so many beautiful lessons. I'm Nigerian. I was born there. And at the age of 5, I went to Holland because that's where my mum was. And for whatever reason, for a better life, the plan was to come to the UK. Things didn't plan out the way it was supposed to be. I was trafficked into the UK and left homeless with my sister, who's got learning difficulties. We went into the foster system, and I grew through social services. I grew up in Lambeth. I went through school. college, but then when it got to university, I couldn't further my education because was undocumented, so I couldn't even get a job. So whilst everybody, my friends and peers were progressing in life, I felt stuck, but I still had to provide. Like I said, my sister's got learning difficulties. I've been looking after her since the age of 10. And in the environment that I grew up in and with the options that I had to do certain things to provide. Unfortunately, I got in trouble and I had to sit down for a year and to figure out what was next for my life. After that little stint, I came out and found American football. I started playing American football, and honestly, it changed my life. You know, it gave me the outlet that I needed. It allowed me to get out the frustration and for the lack of progression. It gave me a brotherhood, a camaraderie, and but there was also another part of my life where I felt that and that was when I was going to youth clubs. I attended Oasis, I went to Lansdowne, I went Kids Company, and these places gave me a safe haven. It gave me mentors. It gave me because for me the home wasn't a safe place. I bounced around from like 10 different foster homes, and it's just people. Unfortunately, the people that I was looked after by didn't do it for the love of or the betterment of the children. It was more for financial gain. But you know, fast forward 2014, the Dallas Cowboys came into the UK to play a game. I had an unofficial workout with them, thought nothing of it. I was working in a warehouse at the time, cash in hand, because like I said, I was undocumented. Um, and the next year, they gave me a call and said that they wanted to change my life and give me an opportunity. I quit my job, started training full time, and I went out to America. And by the grace of God, I've been playing for 10 years. I played for the Dallas Cowboys, the Washington Commanders, the Carolina Panthers, and the Buffalo Bills. I've had the ability to change my life, change my family's life, inspire my community. My sisters looked after and once for nothing, and now I have the privilege of being a born ambitious ambassador as well.
That moment when they called you must have been amazing. How did how did sports change you in terms of your confidence, resilience, and belief in yourself?
It was amazing, and sports definitely was huge. Because one, as a kid, at least just growing up in foster care, I had low self-esteem. I felt like I wasn't wanted. I didn't know where I belonged. I didn't have parents or role models to show me where I'm from, what my roots are, my identity. So, and also I don't know, like even as a black man, like there's a lot of code switching. So I'm always having to be a chameleon in order to fit certain situations or to be liked or to be wanted or to have value. Sports just, allowed me to do that without the other side. It was about performing, it's about overcoming, it's about dealing with adversity, it's about um, you know, um, being part of something, being part of a team. So there's all these different lessons that sport has taught me that I carry into my real life, and I wish and I use to try and inspire and change kids' lives. And because yeah, and also in terms of resilience as well,
Yeah.
just having the ability to wake up all day in, day out, even when you're in pain, even when you don't want to do it, and go into the gym, eating the right food, having that discipline to say that, okay, all my friends are going out and drinking and doing all that stuff, but because I want this certain goal and I want this thing for my life, I'm gonna be up at 4 in the morning, or I'm gonna be asleep at 8 p.m., and even though it's unorthodox for some people at my age, it's what I wanted. So overall, it just taught me how to be a better human being. And then also, I was around people that wanted to achieve something in their lives, and I
Mm.
wasn't around that. Unfortunately, my role models were murderers and drug dealers. And to be in an environment where people are trying to provide for their families and better themselves, even if it's just a skill, that was foreign to me.
So I know you said youth clubs played a big role in your journey.
Huge.
Why do you think youth clubs are so important for young people today?
Honestly, like I can only speak for myself, and I know there's a lot of kids that relate to it. Um, like I said, I grew up in foster care, so the home wasn't a safe place for me.
Yeah.
And the roads was a negative space for me. So I needed a third space that would inspire um, community growth, accountability, family, friendship, all these things that I wasn't getting anywhere else. So that's why these youth clubs, these spaces, these key workers, these mentors, even being around kids that are going through the same things I'm going through, and having and walking through that journey with them, and it teaches you tolerance, empathy, patience. So just having this third space outside of the home, because for a lot of these kids, at the home isn't a safe place, and the roads isn't a safe place, schools isn't a safe place, so they need something else. And that's what it gave me. It gave me somewhere else outside of my home, that I felt like I belonged.
Was there a specific youth worker or coach that made a real difference for you?
In the football world, yeah, there's multiple coaches. There's a guy called Mike Wojcik. Um, he was the strength coach for the Dallas Cowboys,
Yeah.
and till this day, he's like a father to me, And any issues with marriage, family, just being an adult, even such things as taxes. He taught me how to fish, taught me how to
Wow.
order a steak, and things, just how to be a man and accountability. One time I was staying with him and my wife was there, and she got into the car, and he was like, "Why didn't you open her door?" Till this day, I open her door.
Yeah.
Like every time I get out the car and I make,
Yeah.
or even if in London with the tight spaces, I'm like, let me get you a door, so stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
in the youth workspace, it's Hashi Mohammed. He was my key worker, and to this day, he's a very close friend, consider him a family.
Yeah.
And he's seen my journey. He's seen me from a very young, angry kid to an adult that's trying to inspire and change his community, and be the provider and be the leader of his family. And yeah, so those relationships, and many more, but those are the relationships that I hold very dear, and those are the men that have like really had a huge impact in my life.
So the coach was more of like a family member than a coach, I guess.
Yeah, no, but that's the coach. Generally, coaches, key workers,
Yeah.
these aren't just like singular roles. Like they encompass so much more. They encompass the whole mindset of what it means, like the mental, the physical, the emotional, um, all of it. Like honestly, those terms and those labels don't do it justice for the amount of work and the amount of commitment that these roles provide, like the require everything.
Yeah. So, what actually motivated you to become a born ambitious ambassador for London Youth?
Um, honestly, like I didn't, like I said, my role models were drug dealers and murderers, and that's very sad to say, because and I don't want that for the next generation. I've got people that look up to me. I've got a platform. I've got a journey, and I know there's a lot of people that I grew up with that are dead or in prison, and that didn't make it out, that had so much potential. And I don't, and if I have an ability to inspire or to motivate or to show kids that are coming up, especially in this hard terrain that they have to, walk through, and how, from my perspective, how much harder economically it is for them to be able to, to provide, and even get on a property ladder, or something as simple as that, or find their purpose, or all the social pressures that they face from social media, the mental health issues, depression, ADHD, autism, all these different things that they have to navigate now. And then with all the cuts from the government, and pressures that all these third spaces and providers of safe havens are facing, if I can add to that, and inspire, that's what I'm going to do. Like I'm a big advocate of practicing what I preach. And like I go to youth clubs now, and I would think that, oh, I needed to, initially when I went in there, I thought that I needed to give speeches, and um this is what I'm doing. And this, sometimes I just go there and I just sit there and just be in a presence,
Yeah.
and a positive presence well, it's enough. They come and they interact with you. And the big personalities, and then at the end of it, they're like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going for, and it has nothing to do with sport. and it's just having an adult pour time and effort and energy and be consistent into their lives goes a long way, you know. And then as you're in those environments and you build those relationships, then you can have influence and you have um no, I won't say, and your words mean a bit more, much more. So then you can have influence in terms of guiding them. And then if they don't feel like they can say certain things or to approach certain things in their family or in their homes and their friends, then they have you, or they have these spaces to support them as they go through life, because you have their best interest at heart.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I have one more question for you.
Of course.
What is your main message you want the young people of today to know?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, Honestly, I just want them to know that it's possible.
Yeah,
Like for me, I struggled with imposter syndrome my whole career, even though I was good and I worked my butt off.
yeah,
And I still felt like I didn't belong. I still felt like I got lucky or I didn't deserve to be there. And that's just through the insecurities of where I come from and how I was treated, and the environment that I was raised. Some those times I didn't even feel like I deserved to dream. Like a lot of people don't even, you can't even dream. You can't even, you
yeah.
feel deserving of that. So I want them to, when they see me, I want them to know that it's possible. Like, you know, like that a kid from South London can, you know, change his life and become an NFL player and go out there and compete with the best of them. And he can, you know, meet the king and host camps and, you know, change his family's life and be a millionaire and whatever, start businesses or be in boardrooms and whatever it is, like it is possible. Whatever your dream is, whatever God's called you to, you don't have to go through the adversity, because that's what tests if you really want it. But it is possible, and I want them to know that they can dream, and they can dream as big as they want, no matter what background they come from, no matter whether they're a two-parent home, whether they're in foster care, whether they're a legal immigrant, whether they're homeless, whether they're in prison, whatever it is that they're going through. Dream big, and it's possible. That's what I want them to feel, and I hope my presence and my words and my actions instill that in them.
Efe, thank you so much for sharing your story today.
It's an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you.
For everyone else, I hope Efe's journey inspires you as much as it inspired me today and shows you the impact we can make when we invest in young people's potential. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing.
Hey both. My name's Rebecca. I'm the head of delivery at London Youth, and hi everyone else on the call. I do believe you guys can turn off your cameras for the moment and have a little rest before we come back for a Q&A at the end. But yeah, no, a lot of what you said, both Malachi and Efe, like thank you so much. It really resonated with me. Young people deserve, and Efe, yeah, your story really speaks to the complexity of issues that young people are facing, like whether that's interacting with systems or within themselves. And really how you touched upon, like it's these third spaces where sport takes place that are absolutely essential. Yeah, I suppose as you heard from Efe there as well, when we talk about physical activity for young people, we're really talking about so much more than just sport. We're talking about exactly what it is that movement can unlock. At London Youth, we see every day when a young person gets active, something shifts. Their confidence grows, their mood lifts, and they start to feel more in control of their physical and their mental health and well-being. And for many young people in London, that feeling is rare. Right now, too many young people are missing out on the chance to be active, especially girls, Black and Asian young people, disabled young people, and young people whose families like simply cannot afford extracurricular activities. At the same time, we've seen school-based physical activity has been squeezed, and the cost of living crisis has made it even harder for families to keep their children involved in sport. And that's why, as they said in the conversation before, youth clubs matter so much. They are trusted, local, familiar spaces where young people feel safe enough to try something new. They're places where a young person who feels intimidated in a school sports hall can actually take part. And they're one of the few environments where young people who are struggling with confidence, stress, risk of violence, or low mood can find a sense of relief and connection. Our vision at London Youth is simple. We want every young Londoner from every background to grow up physically active. As London's largest network of youth organisations, we work with and through grassroots youth clubs across the capital to make physical activity accessible to young people who might otherwise miss out. And we achieve this vision in two key ways. Getting active. Getting Active is London Youth's flagship physical activity programme. We deliver it in partnership with grassroots youth organisations across the city. Its purpose is really quite simple. It's to give young Londoners free, regular access to sport, movement and physical activity, particularly those who are inactive, less active, or who face participation barriers. We deliver this programme through trusted youth organisations. Getting Active uses movement as a tool to build confidence, improve physical health and mental well-being, develop skills and resilience, and help young people feel connected. What makes the programme unique is its asset-based approach. Rather than kind of parachuting in external coaches, it really champions the strength of youth workers, the trusted adults who know their young people the best. Alongside this, London Youth provides training, support and networks so that youth workers can deliver high quality, engaging activities that feel relevant, welcoming and accessible. This approach helps us reach young people who are often excluded from those traditional sports settings, something that happened to me. Those who feel intimidated, overlooked or simply unable to access opportunities. And it's since 2019 the programme has been able to reach over 36,000 young Londoners. For many young people, Getting Active is the first step, focusing on creating regular opportunities for young people to be active within their local communities. With that in mind, our sport events and young leaders programme then helps them broaden their horizon, connect with peers across London and develop as leaders. Delivered in partnership with the Jack Petchey Foundation since 1999, our sport events and young leaders programme has opened the door for thousands of young Londoners to take part in citywide events and shape activity in their communities. The programme operates at 3 levels across London, within local communities, and through the development of individual young leaders. Our London-wide sport events bring together young people from across the capital to try new sports, build skills, meet new people, and experience really the joy of being active together, whether that's from football and basketball to cheerleading, paddle, ice skating, and much, much more. Then we have our borough-wide youth-led events. These give young people the opportunity to pitch for funding and design sporting events in their local communities, developing leadership skills whilst creating opportunities for their peers around them. Finally, we have the Sports Activator Training, which equips young people with the skills and confidence to deliver sport activities within their youth organisation. This creates a lasting culture of participation, opportunity and movement. Together, these programmes create a pathway first from participation right the way through to ownership, helping young Londoners become more active, more confident and more connected to their communities. At the heart of that journey are the youth workers and youth organisations delivering these opportunities day in, day out alongside London Youth. So, I'd now love to bring in the perspective of youth workers and young leaders. I'm joined today by Carl, our Sports Development Officer at London Youth, and Sasha, a youth worker, and Amari, a young leader from our member organisation, Sport at the Heart. Oh, I've just got a couple of questions for you all, some for all of the panel and then a few for you at Sport at the Heart. So let's start kind of with what you see day to day. When young people begin taking part in regular physical activity, what are the changes that you notice in them?
For any of us?
Yeah.
You go first, Sasha.
I would say you see laughter, or you hear laughter, should I say, you see smiles. A shared experience, especially for young people who might be their first time coming to a youth club, not knowing what the setup is, having a buddy that can show them around. I guess we also see a change in their character, up self-esteem through working with other young people and youth workers, the excitement about coming into a youth club, a new space, a new place, something that's different from school, it's different from the local park, it's different from an after-school club. And also a bit of a spring in their step because they're learning new skills.
I'd say the young people love it because it's a chance for them to just be free, if that makes sense. During the school periods of year 1 to 11, there's always added on pressure, but during sports, I don't feel like there's any pressure. I just feel like it's just your time to have fun, and that's why they enjoy it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add, Rebecca was speaking a lot about what that we do through the Getting Active program and the sports events. But, when these young people are attending, I would say the biggest thing for me is their confidence. It really helps to build their confidence. We have a lot of young people who say would be attending our 3-on-3 basketball event and go into a tournament for the first time. So, these are young people who in their youth club, they may be playing around with their friends, but now they're getting an opportunity to actually play against other young people from all over London. It's helping to sort of break down that sort of postcode, not being able to come out of their boroughs. We've had young people attend our events. It's their first time on the tube, for example. So, we have a lot of young people who are within their spaces and that's all they know, school, local park, local youth club, but they're not really able to get out and about. So the opportunity to get north, south, east, west together, break down those barriers and for them to meet new people, try something new, is really great and very powerful. But that confidence piece, and not just confidence in sport, but confidence in life and confidence in themselves is definitely one of the biggest things that I've seen doing this well.
Yeah, there's a really lovely through line in all of your answers, kind of around that shared experience, being coupled with a sense of play for young people. And actually within play is where we learn all of this plethora of skills, like you say, Carl, around confidence. Amari, you touched on it a little bit. The next question is kind of youth clubs they're really different from school or traditional kind of sports settings. Why do you think they're such powerful places for getting young people active? And especially those, as you said, Carl, that don't feel confident or don't see themselves as sporty?
That's a really good question. Even moving away from sports, I think youth clubs care for young people more than schools. I feel like schools are just there to just teach them. They don't really care about the young person, about the background, what's going on with them, why they're not confident in sports. And I think youth clubs care a lot more, and that's why kids enjoy it.
Should I add?
Go for it.
Yeah, I guess one of the biggest things about the youth clubs and the schools is that you have to go to school. You have to be in some form of education up to the age of 16. You have to, even if you're homeschooled. Whereas youth clubs is a choice. So these young people are making that choice to attend a youth setting. And I think, Amari said it well, to be free. There's a lot of tick boxes within schools, but when you come to the youth club, there's hopefully something you can find. And there's also role models, like Efe said earlier, there's role models that look like you. In schools, there may be teachers that look like the young people, but when we start going up to deputy heads and headmasters, those people may not look like the young people themselves. So it's not inspiring. Young people believe in what they can see. So when they're going to a youth club and they're seeing, these people in the youth club doing amazing stuff. We just had Malachi, who is from Caius House, who just done, a great interview that came across very professional with Efe. another young person who goes to his youth club sees Malachi doing that, and then that inspires him to like, or them to look into future opportunities in that sort of space. So I think the biggest thing about the youth club is it's a safe space within their own community. You know, it's local to them. Sometimes young people have to travel to school. They might have to go out borough or go elsewhere, but it's somewhere local for them to be free, to be safe, and to have role models that look like them, that can point them in the direction. And like Amari said, we're talking sport today, but there's so much that youth clubs provide: employability, mental health support. But yeah, sport, with me being a sports guy, is so key and important to those young people's development, and youth clubs can offer sports opportunities that schools just can't.
Sasha, anything from you to add to that question?
Yeah, I would say, as everyone said, youth clubs is more than sport. It's offering pathways, offering gateways, it's offering opportunities. We've got young people, for example, who their parents will not allow them in the kitchen to cook for whatever reason, whether they think they're too young, they're going to make a mess, or just they're in the way. They come to youth club and we have dedicated time and space for young people to cook as young as 8 years old. And you see how they light up, the fact that they're able to turn on an electric stove, they're able to, you know, use knives appropriate for their age to chop and cut, to fillet a chicken breast, to fillet a piece of fish. It's all these life skills that, as we're kind of saying, at schools, it's very rare you're going to get to do this at school. Youth club, it's almost like a home from home. You may get to do stuff you do at home. You always also get to do stuff that you can't, maybe won't do at home. Cooking is a big thing. And food, what does it do? It fills your belly, but also brings people together. It sparks conversations, talking about culture, talking about people's backgrounds, and fills you up as well.
Yeah, no. It's true. It's this kind of wealth of wraparound. I love the way you described it as a home from home, and this thing around freedom. Like, that really, the magic of youth work is that it's voluntary. Like, every young person decides and makes that choice to go, and these youth clubs need to be there for them. Because you also touched on that thing of feeling valued, Amari, right? Like, you're welcome here. This space belongs to you. And I do love breaking bread. It's the best way to get to know each other. You're totally right. The next question is then, you know, as wonderful as youth organisations are, like, we know that young people face real barriers to being active, and youth clubs are this solution. But thinking about some of those barriers, like we've mentioned a couple of them around cost, or like lack of green spaces, and maybe not feeling it's for you. I guess how does kind of London Youth Support help break down some of those barriers for you delivering on the ground?
I would say that with the Getting Active programme, that's been a big thing for us, where we're able to offer like the non-traditional sports. Like, most children would have maybe played football at school, dabbled with basketball, maybe netball. That might have kind of been it. Through the support of London Youth, we've been able to have golf equipment on site. We've brought the young people to do ice skating off-site. More recently, paddle, which we're introducing. And as adults, to reach something like paddle is one thing. For a young person or a child to be able to do tennis or paddle, like in our local community, is something different. We have a tennis club maybe 10 minutes from our youth club that our young people cannot and probably wouldn't access just because of cost, which is probably one of the biggest barriers is going to be cost. But to be able to take young people to a paddle centre in our borough, for them free of charge, literally we'll take them on the bus, so they're travelling independently with staff, being able to be, you know, coached by professional people and play with their own age group, that's out of this world and very much like a dream.
Yeah, that's the paddle place near me as well. It's just moved, so we'll have to change where we come and do paddle with the young people together, support the heart.
Sounds good.
Carl, did you have any reflections as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely great to hear that. I mean, I'm in my fifth year now, and I'm in my fifth year in this role at London Youth, and Sport at the Heart have been there from year one. They're doing great stuff in Brent. And I think, what we also need to remember is that we're not just providing the sports opportunity, we're also upscaling and training. So the golf, like Sasha mentioned, we had a partnership with the Golf Foundation. There was a program called Unleash Your Drive where we was able to support 10 organizations like Sport at the Heart. They got equipment, they got training, we put on the training event for them so that they're internal staff could actually learn how to deliver the golf as well. And in addition, there's also the wraparound of like attending events. So we're currently doing getting active with the LTA funding, and we're just currently in the moment set it now for the 15th of July to do the training. So 2 members of staff from each organization is going to get that activator training. So then they'll go back to their community and be able to be a person that is a role model, but now skilled in delivering a sport that is not normal, the niche. Then we're breaking down the barriers of getting them access to the facilities as well, creating partnerships with the tennis and the paddle clubs. So yeah, in my role, I'm trying to do, football is England, everyone in England plays football, but it's like, okay, how can we like get these young people to tap into sports that they never would have tried? So we just, Malachi's on the call. We just came back from the HSBC Championship tennis last week, able to bring down 2 youth organizations that attended. I know just for me as well, it was like our first tennis event, but so inspiring. And then knowing they're going to go back into their community and get delivered sessions from trained coaches. So yeah, it's that wraparound of exposure, opportunity, and breaking down barriers. And I love it.
I love that. And just on that, Malachi, I'm going to throw you one that isn't a question that was prepared. But I suppose, how have you found, like, in terms of like training, like opportunities in your role as a young leader, and then kind of your support from Sasha and Sport at the Heart? Like, how's it been for you?
For me, I think recently it's got really good because it's like paddle, for example. We've been able to take a lot of young people down to Battersea Power Station to play paddle there, which is not too far from us. And I just think it's such a good opportunity because, like me myself, I've seen paddle on social media and all that. I've never actually got to play it, and I think it's such a good game because the entry level is not as high as, I guess you'd say, tennis, but you can still have fun being a beginner. So I think, yeah, just a lot of sporting events like that. And like, for example, here at the youth club, we have a sports hall, so we're always running some sort of event, or like just like a football. We have today girls football, Monday boys, and just like that, always being able to provide, even if there's not a club going on and if some people want to use it, I'll go in there, take them, we'll play basketball, set some teams up, just like getting everyone involved in sport, even if they wouldn't usually. I think that's a good thing that's been starting a lot recently. Yeah.
I've got one more question for all of you, and if you've got an answer, I guess, from your perspective, why is it so important that young people in London have access to free, safe, community-based physical activity, and like especially now? Omari, maybe you want to give it a go with Sasha.
Why is it important? I feel like it's important because it's not focused on enough, and I feel like it's still something that we need to work on and improve. Yeah, I think that's what I would say.
From my perspective as a parent, as well as someone in our local community, we've touched on access, which is definitely a big thing. Something being free or very low cost obviously helps. Here in Brent, people don't always like to say it, but we are living in poverty, whether you like it or not. There is high levels of, deprivation and all those kind of societal factors that come with it. So a lot of the time, the last thing a parent's going to be thinking about is paying for an extracurricular club, even though they would love for their child to do it. It comes at a cost, right? So where you do have youth clubs, you can offer services and activities free or at very low cost. It definitely helps families, especially if you've got more than one child. A safe place, obviously, that's, again, as I said, it's at home from home. But I think for me, the real sticking point is families and parents getting to know where their children are. You want to know where your child is after school. If you're a working parent and you're not at home when your child comes home, you want to know your child's either at home and the doors are locked, or they're in a safe space where they're contactable, say through their youth workers, for example. You want to know if they're being fed. So can they have a hot meal at this youth centre, at this youth club? All those things are factors that, play a part in making sure that our young people are safe, looked after, and that parents have kind of a bit of less stress and less worry at the end of the day.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'll just add that we're really trying to use sport here at London Youth to break down those barriers. We really don't want young people to just be like products of their environment. Like Efe said, their role models in their areas may not be the best examples for them. I have to work so hard because we have a lot of these negative things that are disrupting our young people. Every school in South London, I can't speak for the whole of London, but every school in South London is 5 minutes away from a chicken and chip shop. Like there's just so many things that are like just negative and easy for them to access. But the good things like the sports can be difficult because they might have one playground in their area, but everywhere else it says no ball games. So when we break down these barriers and give them access and give them opportunities, I think of myself growing up as a young person in South London and I never played golf or tennis in my life, and being able to do that now for these young people is just so inspiring because you can see it in their faces. They're so happy. They're happy to just be out and about and getting these opportunities. And the fact that it's free is crucial. We're in a cost of living crisis right now. Equipment could be a barrier, and we're providing that. And the knowledge as well. It's not just come and have a go and then you forget about it. It's like, no, it's wrap around. Come and have a go, then go back to your own community, get more opportunities to learn and play. Do you want to be a coach? Do you want to do activating? Do you want to make money? We have the Sports Leaders Academy where we have our young people at our events that get paid. They get paid to be event leads, to support on the day, to gain feedback, to help with like refereeing and stuff like that. So there's so much. Sport is so powerful. We just want to tap into that like as much as possible. I would urge everybody on the call, all of our corporate partners and supporters, in any way, shape or form, if you can support us with sport, equipment, funding, time is amazing. We have a lot of great corporate volunteers that come to our events, and then it works the other way as well, because now you are getting to see these young people in their true light, and we don't always get to see that. You might watch some silly shows on TV that show young people in not the greatest lights, but when you come and you see them playing football and sports, and you can talk with them, and it really shows like the person behind the hoodie. So I can go on all day, but I can even though her camera's off, I can see Jenna's face. I know she's like, we've got Q&A, so I'm gonna stop. But it is amazing. Thank you for everyone for being on the call. We really appreciate your time, and you can get at me anytime.
Brilliant. Malachi, one final thought to finish off on the importance of why access to free, safe, regular sport is so important.
I feel that just making sure the kids have somewhere like they feel comfortable, they can also like progress within their life, because sport, it's not easy. Like you don't just come home, sit on the sofa. It's not the same thing. You need to actually put some effort into it. So I think that also builds like confidence and resilience in themselves. And they're also learning a new skill that will later, even if they're not looking to go professional, the skills stay with them their whole life. And I think just making sure they're not just out there, oh yeah, they're meeting their friend at the park, they're gonna go and just do something that would not benefit them, like get them involved with the wrong people. And I think providing sports at a youth club or just in general, I feel that after the sport, it doesn't just end there because you could come out, there's food prepared, you have a nice chat with everyone, and then later they go home, they have a good sleep, come back the next day feeling better. It just, the whole thing just works so well, and like it encourages them to stick with it, sort of. So I think that's why it's
Yeah.
so important. Yeah.
No, and I'd just come back to what Efe kind of left us with, that young people deserve.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Thank you all really so much for sharing why this work matters and why investing in youth clubs and community-led sport is so powerful. And I'd love to open the conversation up to the audience now. So please do feel free to ask any of today's speakers a question via the chat.
So Matilde is also asking if you had one ask from all of us. Well, I'm going to make an ask shortly, but I'll open it to the group first. Efe, do you have one ask of the people on the call?
Oh, whatever you can do, just show up. You know, invest in the youth. Like they're the future of tomorrow. Like, you know, everybody. We've all got different walks of life, and we all have different experiences, no matter what occupation or what we're doing. Even from a parent's perspective, you know, I think that's one of the hardest jobs ever. And through that journey, through those roles that you've played in your life, you have so much to offer. You know, like it's our first time going around and living life as well. But for a lot of these kids, it's their first time as well. So I don't know. I don't say I feel like I owe it to them, but you know, as people in positions, we owe it to them. We owe it to our community. We owe it. It takes a village. We owe it to these next generation, to whatever you're capable of, financially, time, connections, whatever it is, to help. You know, it might, and honestly, like it might not even be London Youth. Whatever you can do, just do. You know, it might start with your home, your family, your friends, your kids. Start there, and then start slowly branch out and to help, and slowly we create better generations of kids. So yeah, just get involved and just do what you can do. That's my ask.
Yeah, anyone else wants to chime in, and then Leona, I think we're gonna try to make you can speak. But if you just need to unmute yourself. But anyone else want to follow up on Efe's comment around what's the one ask? I think good to think of that from a youth club. What's your one ask? And from young people, what's your one ask? I mean, London Youth has an ask, but first let's hear from you guys.
I would say from us at Sport of the Heart, I guess it's kind of like for a three-pronged approach. Investment of time where possible, investment of funds, you know, keep funding London Youth, keep helping them, you know, drive and build these programs. And I think the third one would be put yourself in the young person's shoes today, to see where they're coming from, to hear their story, and just listen. That's all I can ask.
One of the questions was, any other ways niche sports can foster meaningful participation among youth? So I guess niche sports, do we want to count paddle and golf as niche sports because it's not normally accessible to everyone?
Can I answer that one? I think the work we've done in the past, like we were saying with the Golf Foundation, what we're currently doing with the LTA, there's clearly like a lack of certain groups or young people that are not accessing these sports, whether it's finance, whether they can't physically get there. And I think what we've been able to do is really find a formula that works. So it kind of works in three ways. There's the training / activators, where we actually train the young people or the young leaders or youth workers themselves to have the ability to deliver that sport. So it's now accessible in their community. 2 is the equipment. So the Golf Foundation, for example, gave us like a whole bag that had the the clubs and other things that can help to deliver. And it also came with like a booklet of how you can deliver certain sessions. And what I don't like to call it street golf, but that's the best way to describe it. Like it was golf that could be literally played in the street because you had the setup to do it. You had the whole, you can tell I don't play golf. You had the whole thing that you can get the balls into. And then the third one was attending the events, seeing it real time live, like is so great for them because the experience of the day, we, like I said, we went to the HSBC Championship. I'm sure those tickets are probably hundreds of pounds. So they're getting access to live sports that they would only normally see on TV. So that three-prong approach has worked well for us. Currently doing it now with the LTA, look at exploring it to do it with more sports. But yeah, happy to support niche sports to get it out there to the masses.
So we have 2 final questions and then we'll wrap up. So Pizza, do you want to go? Give your hand up and then we'll go to Grace.
Hi, Carl. Hi, Rebecca. Great to see you and everyone else on the call. Yeah, thanks for highlighting all of those activities. It's wonderful to hear how well loved some of the Jack Petchey funded holiday programs are as well, like the ice skating and basketball. And so I just wanted to reiterate, we're really delighted to be funding that for another year. And I can't wait to see all of your, promotional stuff going out about what's going on in the summer holidays this summer, in the October half term, February half term, next Easter. So, and looking forward to coming and seeing on the borough-wide stuff, what organisations are going to be running their own activities in their boroughs. And just a little shout out there, if your organisations are taking part in those sports activities, you can also take advantage of the residential opportunities that will be hopefully running up to this summer and then again next year as well. But to take part in those residentials, you need to be part of the Jack Petchey Foundation Achievement Award scheme. There are little pockets of money that you can also get from us, which also celebrate young people. So just a little shout out there. But there is a double-edged like prong there. You can benefit from even more by being part of our Achievement Award scheme. So we're just thrilled to be partnering with you.
Thanks, Peta. We have quickly 2 more, and then I would love to have a final wrap up. So one was young people going on to be professional athletes. Well, Efe is obviously, he wasn't part of London Youth, but obviously, youth work played a big role in supporting him. I don't know, Rebecca or Sasha or Carl, do you guys know of anyone that's done our programs that's then, moved to the professional world?
I mean, I think just a recent example, we run Estudiantes are an organisation in Tottenham. They're predominantly a football organisation, but through the work of getting active and then coupled with one of our employability programme, summer skills grants, they moved into kind of creating referees and young coaches alongside that physical activity. And I do believe one of their young people won, I think it's the UEFA Disability Coach of the Year this year, which is like just an amazing achievement. So yeah, there's a young person making moves.
And one final one for Efe. What would you tell your younger self now as a mentor that understands the journey?
I don't know, hindsight's 2020, but I would tell myself just, I don't know, everything happens for a reason, and that you should trust and believe in yourself a little bit more. But also I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I think that there were situations that I was in that I didn't want to be in, and it was hard to be in, but ultimately the lessons that I learned and the resilience and the callous and the character that those situations built enabled me to apply that and be different and have a different mindset and perspective when put in other situations. So something as simple as being in foster care and living out of a suitcase and bouncing from home to home, just living in a and being uncomfortable. When I got to the NFL, that was the situation. You know, it was high, it was very stressful, highly competitive. One day you can be on a team, the next day you can get cut. You're constantly living out of a suitcase. You live, so there's those that, you know, it didn't prepare me for that, or you know, just that's just one simple example. There's multiple. So as I was going through my life, I was like, oh, why has this happened to me? Woe is me, woe is me, as opposed to trying to be understanding that, you know, trying to control what I can control, but also trying to figure out the lessons as I was in those situations that could be transferred into other lessons. So I'll just say, you know, just everything happens for a reason, you know, and that's what I would say to my younger self.
Thank you,
Right.
Efe. We'll wrap up. I know it's 1 o'clock now, but just a huge thank you to our speakers and for everyone joining. I feel like the conversation today really articulated the power of youth work and how amazing young people are and the role of youth organizations and youth workers. And that for me, obviously I work here, so but that came across really clearly, and I hope it resonated with all of you. I mean, we're really proud of all of the work happening here at London Youth, as well as all of our member youth organizations are just doing incredible life-changing things and activities and programs. But the reality is it's a really challenging environment right now. You know, funding cuts for the last 10 years, youth organizations really struggling to continue to deliver for young people. And with every youth club that shuts, it's underserved young people that are the most affected, and we cannot leave people behind. So I guess my plea is, if you are in a position to support, please do get in touch. For context, when Getting Active was at its heyday, it supported 3,000 young Londoners every year. We are only delivering a much smaller portion of that right now due to lack of funding and funding cuts. So, you know, if you can partner with us, you know, Efe said, tell them how much it costs. So I'm going to say how much it costs to increase and fully deliver our kind of vision within Getting Active alone. We need an additional £350,000 a year. So if you know people that are interested in young people and sport and youth work, and you can connect us, if you work at a company that can help us develop a partnership, yeah, really our plea is, as we enter this really fun time of year, you know, the England games tonight, personally won't be watching it, but I know everyone else will be watching it. I think it's a plea to think about the young people that don't have access to opportunities and support when it comes to physical activities. So thank you for letting us go over 2 minutes. We will send a follow-up to this with more information, but please do get in touch. We would really love to have a conversation around how you can support if you are able to, and also to acknowledge those that already do support us who are on this call today. So thanks so much and have a great day.